So I just watched X-Men Days of Future Past last night, and I feel like a review is overdue. Back when the trailers were coming out, I had knocked down the movie a little bit because I was a little concerned that they would have too much Wolverine and not enough everyone else. But thankfully, I was proven wrong. Let's want to also do a little comparison, comic to film. There were some changes made, but overall, it's the same story. Like the Sentinels, is time travel, it's the same thing, really. The comic is really essentially about Kitty Pryde and her journey to becoming an X-Man, which is left out of the movie, but it's fine because, honestly, does anyone really need to see that crap? There it is. Here's the original cover. So I took concepts of that from the comic and put it in the film, because there's quite a few X-Men that aren't even in the future. Cyclops, Jean, Rogue, Gambit. I must tell you that I think this is definitely the best X-Men film yet. They did make a little bit of an error with the Sentinel thing, because they're talking about Mystique being responsible for all these weaponized Sentinels. Okay, Mystique can take anyone's shape and form, but she does not take their powers. Rogue takes their powers. That's where they made the mistake. A little minor mistake, but someone like me will definitely pick up on it. Other fans will too, I'm sure. But yeah. Of course, seeing as how Rogue isn't even in the future, I'll presume that she was already killed and whatnot. She's not in the autopsy reports, but I'm sure she's cow and flower somewhere. It's a great film, and Wolverine needs to stay in the 1970s for all I care. He's hilarious in the 70s. Peaceful thoughts. Quicksilver had a great scene. I was laughing out loud in the theater. It's hilarious. Pretty sure I'd do the same thing if I could move that fast and slow down time. Probably my favorite character in this movie besides Wolverine, young Magneto, played by Michael Fassbender. Oh my gosh, that dude just brings something unique to the role of Magneto. And I just gotta praise, because it's like he's one of the few villains that is actually accurate with his comic book counterpart. It's not half-assed like Doctor Doom or the Green Goblin or something. It's like they got him right, and it's not even Marvel Studios, so you can like make all your crying about how Sony's ruined Spider-Man. Fine, but Fox is doing pretty good with X-Men, so can't really complain too much. Yeah, watching it yesterday, I'm like, why are there always only a couple of X-Men fighting whoever it is in these movies? And this one's only Wolverine and Beast fighting the Sentinels and Magneto. It's like they had Havoc in there for a little bit among other mutants, but it's like, okay, so why is Havoc not fighting Sentinels with them? Because there's no extra or anything. They kind of changed a little bit with the story, mixing up with the 70s, the Vietnam War, and all that. Like, okay, fine. Still. So, like, I didn't want to talk about X3 right now, but in X3, there's only 6 X-Men in the final battle. 6 X-Men. There's like at least 50 of them in the comics alone, if not more. And there's only 6, and Magneto got a freaking army and Jean Grey / Phoenix. There's like, they had quite a They got a nice lineup in the future, but I honestly don't know how Colossus survived in the future because he was horrible in these movies. Horrible. Where the hell is Nightcrawler? It's like Nightcrawler should have been with him in the future, but I digress, fellas. I would say this is slightly better than the next two. The Nightcrawler scene alone just grips me in that film, but it does drag a little bit. This one gets right into it. Pulls you in because you got both casts from both series. And I just thought it was well done. It was beautifully scripted, and Wolverine is at his best in this movie. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine at his best in this film. I like that he was in the background in this one, not the full spotlight, because he's never been in the full spotlight. Not in the comics, not in the 90s cartoon. He's just been the most popular. Doesn't mean he has to be the central focus, which is why this one works so well. Because otherwise I would have just walked out of the theater. I'm like, I'm not watching a freaking another Wolverine and the X-Men movie. Like, I paid to see the X-Men. I want to see the X-Men. Not one X-Man. It was great. Oh, favorite moment in this movie? Young Charles meets Professor X. Oh man, I almost lost my freaking mind when I saw that. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome. I'm very pleased with Hank McCoy in this new series. Kelsey Grammer did a great job, and X3 is probably the only one that did a great job in that movie. But it's a good film. Very good film. I gotta admit, I went in there with low expectations, but it proved me wrong. And Bryan Singer, yes, you are forgiven. You are forgiven. Stone Screw of Apocalypse, and we'll call it even. It's like, man, very pleased indeed. In the 90s cartoon, Bishop is the one that is sent back in time because there's this whole thing with Gambit killing the president or something, but it turned out to be Mystique. I'm guessing that's where they got the Mystique thing from. And just incorporate it into their own thing. It's fine. I'm a little iffy about the way the Sentinels looked at first, but when I saw them in context on the big screen, kind of put me at ease. I was hoping they would actually talk like they do in the cartoon. But I guess you can't get everything you want. And let's talk a minute about Halle Berry Storm. She is absolutely horrible as Storm. Horrible. She's nothing like the character at all. Do we even have to bring up that horrible joke she had in the first X-Men film? Do you know what happens to a toe when it's struck by lightning? The same thing happens to everything else. Which is what? And she barely uses her abilities. She has to be one of the most powerful mutants in the X-Men universe. She's right up there with Thor, man. Thor is the most powerful being in the Marvel universe. And Storm is supposed to be a goddess worshipped in Africa. Halle Berry was just playing a character with white hair. She wasn't Storm to me at all. Hugh Jackman with Wolverine. Brilliant casting. Been playing a character for like, what, 13 years? And still going? Hope those rumors about Cyclops and Jean are true in the X-Men Apocalypse. Because honestly, Cyclops was a little bit of a chump in the movies. I kind of wish they had teased Wolverine and Storm in the those movies. If anything, because in the future I think they do get together. I'm not sure. I know in the cartoon there was a tease about that. But it's not in this comic here. Like Magneto, so powerful, lifts a freaking stadium and drops it over the freaking I think it was the White House or something in that one scene towards the end of the film. I was like, oh gosh. Oh man. Like, this is how powerful this guy is, man. Now, why can't someone get Doctor Doom right like that? He's so powerful. So powerful. It's no wonder Wolverine has never been able to defeat him. Not to mention the entire X-Men. It's like he's tossing shit towards Logan left and right. It's like, and I thought Wolverine was gonna die in this one. I'm like, I would have been pissed. No more than I am now about the comics. How they're killing him off. It's like, yeah. I guess that's why I'm not reading Marvel anymore. I was hoping Quicksilver would have a little bit more screen time, but unfortunately, I can't get that lucky. One good scene, I guess, for now. I heard he's coming back for Apocalypse, but I'm not entirely sure. It was a great film. Here, I'm looking at the comic right now, and who is that? You got Wolverine flying toward one of the Sentinels. Unfortunately, there's only a couple prototypes in the movie, so didn't get that much Sentinel action, but what we got was freaking awesome. Magneto coming out of the smoke with Sentinels behind him. Something out of the comics, man. Popped out of the comics. It's freaking beautiful. I kind of wish I'd seen this on screen too. It was in that dopey Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, but crap doesn't count. The show was horrible. How the hell is Disney cancel Spectacular Spider-Man and replace it with this Ultimate crap? I'm still waiting for an X-Men show. It doesn't get canceled. Still waiting. I'm here waiting. When are you gonna give me one? Last X-Men show we got was Wolverine and X-Men. Got canceled. Just when they were about to reveal Apocalypse and Dark Cyclops. It's like, of all the times, could cancel a show. Really. I was hoping Bishop would get more screen time, but unfortunately, he got the treatment I pretty much predicted he would. Got blown up somehow. His power is to absorb energy. He can take a lot of damage, but I guess he got overloaded and blew up. See, in the comic, Kitty Pryde and Wolverine are among the last mutants, and basically Wolverine leads a team in the future, and Kitty Pryde is among them. See, you got a whole bunch of X-Men right here that have been slain or captured. They did something similar in that Avengers cartoon when the scrolls are taken over. They have like X marks around everybody who's been like compromised and whatnot. I liked how Mystique was incorporated into the film. It was kind of mostly about her, but at the same time, it was about both casts, but essentially about her because apparently, according to this movie, she's the reason that they're all hunted in the future. It's like, okay, I'll take it, but they should have at least mentioned the Rogue or hinted at it because Mystique does not take people's powers. She absorbs. She can take their shape and form, not their abilities. Which is why I don't understand why she beat the shit out of Wolverine in the first movie. Because she doesn't have a healing factor or anything. It's like, how is she speaking to him? Same thing with Sabretooth, but it's a different. Yeah. And I got this book right here, Marvel Universe. There's a section on the X-Men in the back. Really wanted to see Dark Phoenix in this series, but they already screwed it up with X2. I don't know how that turned out. I wouldn't have minded having a story about Katie Pryde in this movie. Would have been a nice change of pace. It doesn't have to follow the comics word for word, but see, I can see Michael Fassbender pulling off this Magneto stuff. He's brilliant in the role. It's like, see, look at this picture. That's definitely Fassbender type stuff right there. And I just wanted to briefly touch upon X-Men First Class because that movie was a big tease in some points because when I heard about First Class, I'm like, oh, First Class. Angel, Beast, Wolverine, not Wolverine, Iceman, Cyclops, and Jean. No. They took the First Class comic and made a totally different thing in the movie. So I said, why are you calling it First Class then? That's why I didn't bother seeing it in theater, but it turned out to be really good. To my surprise. See, it says here, the original X-Men, Cyclops, the Angel, Beast, and Iceman were teenage students at Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. So even in the first movie, Charles, like Jean, Storm, and Cyclops were his first students. By First Class, since they said it in the 60s, couldn't have Cyclops for whatever reason. He was a little ass kid for some reason, cerebral his mind or whatever. It's like a little weird. It's like Havoc. What's Havoc doing in this movie? Still don't get it, but whatever, I suppose. So this is the team I've been waiting to see. Right here. I want to see Cyclops be Cyclops the way he's supposed to be. Not like halfway crying out Junior for 5 minutes. It says here, the first issue of X-Men appeared in the same month in 63 Years Avengers #1. Both of the work of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and they both about teams of superheroes. But whereas the Avengers initially featured established solo stars, the X-Men was a team of teenagers that no reader had seen before. I also liked how they incorporated the whole, I guess you could say, racism in their movies. It works for mutants because they've always been shunned, like some people feel at some point in time. But yeah, it's not too much I didn't like about the film. I just wish they had, I guess you could say I wish they had more mutants fighting the Sentinels at the end. But it's not that much of a big deal because Magneto made mincemeat of Wolverine anyway. Like he always does. But I definitely give it 4 out of 5. Just because I went with low expectations and blew me away. At least in some aspects. Thank you very much. Please hold the applause. If you're watching this live, I am Peter Parker signing off. Live long and prosper.